guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So today I wanted to share a quick video with you all about how to make your manifestations easier to achieve. So easier to manifest, easier to achieve. Now, we all want this with the law of attraction. We're like, I want it the most easiest and simplest way. So I'm here to give you those most simplest ways to make sure that your manifestations come to you as soon as physically possible. So my first tip is to make sure that your intentions are crystal clear. So are you clear enough in your intentions? Do you have enough clarity in your manifestations and what it is you want to achieve? Now, most of us will think, of course, Emma, of course I've been clear. Like, I know exactly what I want. But time and time again, what I find is, especially like with my life coaching clients, I will, quiz them a little bit and say, right, okay, tell me about this. Like, what time frame would you like it in? How do you want to work towards it? And they don't know these things. And this is where sometimes the clarity can lack. You may know, let's use work here, for example, if you're working towards an opportunity or publishing a book or, anything in that terms, or even monetary, they'll have that big end goal of, manifesting that money, having a book deal, whatever it is. But when you actually break it down, they haven't thought about the specifics. They know they want the book deal, but they don't know any other details of that. And this is where the universe loves that clarity of you knowing exactly what it is you want, but also on the flip side, surrendering the hows, whens, and whys. So it's good to have that clarity, but also be flexible and flowing with that clarity. I know it doesn't really make much sense that the universe is like, right, I want you to be crystal clear with me, but also flexible in your approach. So be, crystal clear and like, I would like to achieve it by this time, and working towards that, I will do X, Y, Z. This is exactly how it looks. I'm going to really think about it in depth. Write down the characteristics, write down the qualities, write down the descriptions of how I want this to look in my life. So be really specific, because clarity can be actually a really #1 block for people when they just don't have that clarity. So a really good example of this is I hear time and time again from people of, I really want to manifest X amount of money. And I'm like, okay, great. What are you going to spend that money on? Okay, I want to go on holiday. How much does that holiday cost? Well, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, this is where that clarity is. You're wanting to manifest money for the holiday, but you have no idea how much the holiday costs. So I say, like, sit down and work it out. If you have a financial goal to work towards, sit down and work out exactly how much you need. So holidays, for example, it's not just the flights and hotel, it's like the, getting there, expenses, food, if you're going to pay for food on top, all these little things. Work it out, because as soon as you know your total figure, I promise you, you're going to shift something with your money manifestations. I did this with my debt. When I was in debt, I was manifesting for 6 months to be debt free, had no idea why it wasn't manifesting. I was like, I'm manifesting everything else in my life. Why is being debt free not happening for me? And it was because I had no idea how much money I needed to manifest to be debt free. I've been paying bits off monthly, so I had no idea what the total amount was. And as soon as I sat down, worked out my total, and I filmed a whole video on this of how I manifested £10,000 in 5 days. So go and watch that video if you want to know the full story of that. But within 5 days, I manifested it all and more. It was a double manifestation, because I manifested the money to be debt free, and then also for my business as well to, grow it and invest in it. So I manifested two manifestations almost within that 5-day period, all from just getting clear. And the next step as well to really break down that clarity is what I do with a lot of my clients is I say, okay, when do you need that money by? So we know how much you need, we know what your goal is, it doesn't have to just be money. So we know what your end goal is. How long do you have to achieve that? When would you like to happen? When would you like it to happen? And where would you like to be in a certain time frame? So then they'll say, oh, I've never thought of this. So we'll use that holiday example again. So if you know, for instance, that you've got 6 months to manifest £6,000, for example, for that holiday, then you know that you would have to manifest £1,000 each month. So this is what I say to people, and it doesn't just have to be financial goals, that you break down into monthly goals. So instead of just having those big end goals, like I hear all the time, people do the vision boards, they do the visualization, they do everything for the dream life, but they actually don't break down those bigger goals into more manageable, believable goals monthly. So make sure you are setting intentions monthly, whether it is just for things that are happening throughout the month, or you're taking those bigger goals and breaking them down into more easier ways to manifest. Because again, with that £6,000, I've heard it multiple times, people say, oh, that's a big amount of money, that's scary, like how would I do that? So already you're blocking yourself by seeing it as a large amount of money and seeing it as a you know, a big thing to manifest. Whereas when I say to people, right, let's work out how many months you have, break it down, divide it by however many months, use that £6,000 example, £1,000 a month, and they think, oh, okay, that's actually really achievable. So nothing changed there. All we've done is like psychologically made it simpler for that person to manifest. So do this with your big goals as well. It doesn't just have to be money you can do this with. So if you know, for instance, that in a year's time you want to publish a book, we'll use that as an example, but you can tailor this to anything in your life, then okay, so what you would need to be doing over the next few months, you probably need to write the book. You need to write a proposal, you'd have to write the book, you'd have to get the wheels in motion. So you know that that's your focus and your manifestations over the next few months. And then at some point you're going to have to manifest having a meeting with a publisher or something. So then you would manifest that. So it's taking the end goal and breaking it down into the steps that you will need to manifest or take action on to get that manifestation in that time frame. Or if you don't have a time frame, just be sensible with it. What steps can you take each month to break it down into more manageable and believable steps? Because the whole point of law of attraction is that you've got to believe to some degree that, you know, you can achieve this and the universe can serve it to you, and you know you're worthy of it and it can happen. And most of the time the clarity and even the breaking it down aspect I've just explained can shift so much in your life. I can make it really easy to manifest your desires without actually having to do that much. Like with that breaking down scenario, we haven't done anything. All we've done is break it down into monthly achievable goals. Like the total amount hasn't changed, the time frame hasn't changed. It's just making it more achievable or believable in your mind, to your logical mind, by doing that setup of breaking it down and having that clarity over what it is you want and even when you'd like to achieve it by. So what I mean by making your manifestations easier is making them easier for you to believe, making them easier for you to believe that they're achievable as well. And just these simple techniques can really help you to make it seem more believable and achievable without actually doing much at all. So try these techniques, get your vision board out, get your manifestation list out, whatever it may be that you have, and do these exercises. Make sure you're being crystal clear with your intentions. So go through it. Do you have a time frame in mind? If you are wanting to manifest a career, for example, a new job, where would you like to work? How much would you like to earn? This is where dream lists, and I've done a video on this too, can also come in really handy of getting those specifics. Now, like I said earlier, you also have to be a little bit flexible with this. So this is where that letting go and surrender kicks in. Once you've done these steps and you've got to that place of believing, is detaching from the outcome and saying like, I've got my clarity, you know, I'm making this easy in my mind to achieve, and it, you know, I believe it's easier to achieve and it feels doable and it feels good to me. That's your vibration. That's the good stuff you need to work on in that belief stage to get to your next stage of trust, let go, and then receive. So be flexible in your approach. Hold that end vision, but say this or something better for the highest good of all. And that's really important to say with manifesting, because you only want what is meant for you. You want to avoid anything like that, because that's not going to make your manifestations easier to achieve. So be specific, get clear, break them down into monthly manageable steps, and then move into that trust and letting go stage where you're flexible with your approach. So the flexibility here is the hows, the whens, the whys, the ifs, all of those. So, you know, be flexible. So if you've said, right, I need to manifest £6,000 in 6 months, it's saying like, I hold that vision, I know it will happen, but if it doesn't happen, then I trust that something better for the highest good will come along. So even if you're not meant to go on that holiday for another 2 months, and you have to book it 2 months later, there will be a reason for that. So trust in those reasons. So this is what I mean by that flexibility and flowing. It's not that it won't happen, but trust there's a perfect timing and a perfect way for it to happen. It may be as well that you're not meant to go on that specific holiday. Something else could come up even cheaper and you're like, oh, we've got the money for this, different location, but yeah, this seems better. So there will be things that can come up where you need a little bit of that flowing and flexibility, but equally it will still be in, you know, be that end goal that you desire. So there may be some situations where you need to have a little bit of flow and flexibility, but ultimately, no matter what happens, it will be envisioned with that end goal. So you always hold that end goal, but it's detaching from the outcome. It's becoming okay. It's really leaning into that trust and surrender, which is what I've been talking about over on my blog if you want a good blog post on trusting and leaning into surrender. So it's really working into that place where you know it's going to happen, you're trusting, you believe, you feel good, you've got good vibes towards it, but equally you say, right, if that doesn't happen in that time frame, that's okay, there's a reason for that. So instead of obsessing and attaching to it, you become okay with both outcomes. And that will be the easiest way to manifest and how to make your manifestations easy. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again. Don't forget you can leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. So let me know, what is your easiest ways to manifest? How do you make your manifestations easy? So I hope you have a great week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.